Hello, my name is Jeremy Barnes, and today I'm going to be doing a review for the new Guy Ritchie film, Wrath of Man, starring Jason Statham. So, this review will be pretty straightforward. I'm not going to go too in depth because before I watched the movie, I didn't know too much about it either. did see one of the trailers, and I got the sense that it was like a revenge movie where somebody close to Jason Statham, who is the star, is murdered, and he's the one getting revenge. But I'm gonna break it the review into a few parts, and I'm gonna first start off with the story. And the story is a revenge tale, but it's also a heist film. And I thought that was really cool because I don't think I've ever seen both of those two things in the same movie. And the way that they did it was really cool because both of those different types of stories got like pretty equal weight, and it went together very well. So I thought that was actually a positive of the story because it was new in the sense of combining those two different types of stories. Um, but each one like individually like pretty straightforward, like nothing too crazy, like it's what you would expect pretty much. But one negative thing I would say about the story is that it could be a little bit overcomplicated, I feel, at times. It was never so complicated that I didn't know what was going on. Like, it is clear enough that you could follow what's happening. So going into that, even more is the story structure. So the film is not a chronological film. It bounces back and forth between times. The good thing is that it tells you obviously like when it goes back, um, and then I don't know if it says exactly like when it goes back to the present, like the first thing we see, but it does tell you when it goes to a previous time. And the movie was pretty cool because it had chapter titles, and chapter titles were really cool and it fit the movie well, I would say. And story structure overall, the way that it transitions between different times, back and forth, was good. It wasn't too confusing, but it did add a little bit to that overcomplicatedness of the movie that I mentioned. But overall, like it worked. It wasn't anything that took me out of the movie. The only thing I would say is that a good chunk of the movie, like one of its own little sections with the chapter title, I feel maybe might have been a little bit unnecessary because it kind of takes away from what we were seeing before that moment. But I'm not gonna get into specifics because I don't want to give any spoilers away. So that's all I'll say about that. But related to it a bit are the characters in the movie, which overall were good. I feel like all the actors did a good job. I'm not gonna like single out anybody specifically, but obviously this is Jason Statham's movie, so he does own the show. And related to the whole story structure and also the different time frames and the chapters, there's like three different groups in the movie. So what happens is Jason Statham starts working for a truck company that moves money. So the people that work there are like one group, and Jason Statham is obviously one of them, but he's new to the job, so he's not like an original member. So he meets obviously all the people that were already working there before him. And then there's the guys who Jason Statham is gonna get revenge on. And what I would say about them is that they're the Heist Guys. That's the title I would put over them. And we see their whole backstory as well. And then we have Jason Statham's guys, so his background, and we see people that work with him. And each of these groups have kind of like their own section dedicated to them, and it goes into them a little bit. But at first, each one is not completely clear on exactly what's happening, so you gotta like pay attention. But if you do pay attention, I don't think it would be hard to understand it, and everything like flows together and fits in a cohesive way by the end of the movie. But one of those chapters for a specific group seemed a little bit unnecessary to me because it didn't relate as much to the other parts of the story as the other two groups, I guess. But it still made sense, like for the story. So the next section I'm gonna go into is the action because this is an action movie, and the action was great. I think the the movie was really intense with the action, like it was violent, but it was not too violent, like gratuitous with unnecessary amounts of blood, and it made it feel like very realistic. And I think it is realistic in the way that it depicts the violence and even like the threat level. Like Jason Statham is a badass in all the movies he's in, but he's not like a superhero in this movie. Like he still has some setbacks because he's not just a one man army. Because there are guys who pose an equal threat to him that he poses to others. So if it was a one-on-one fight, he pretty much has it. But if he's fighting a group, it's more difficult, which obviously is realistic. So I definitely appreciated that about the movie. But overall, I would say the movie was really good. It was a really good time, and Guy Ritchie tends to make some good crime movies, and this definitely falls into that category as well. And I recommend it to anyone who likes action movies. And right now, I think it's only playing in theaters, so you could either watch it in theaters or wait until it is available to stream somewhere. But I guess I'll give the movie a rating out of 10, and I would say the movie is an 8.5 out of 10. That's all I'm gonna say. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.